Good. Okay, now it's official. Okay, so we introduced ourselves, but also maybe the ensemble or Modelo 62 would be good to introduce. A lot of you might know us already since you found your way to this open call, but we are a collective of musicians who make interdisciplinary experimental projects, but also the approach of making them is experimental. So we kind of question what the concert setup is, what music and sound is. And I think that has really become the DNA of our practice. Of course, Ezequiel can speak to the history of the ensemble, but just to say that Modelo has existed more than 20 years, 23 to be precise. But since last year, we received structural subsidy from the government and the municipality to really support the activities and the team behind it. So now we are lucky to be able to do an open call like this. But supporting young makers is really the core of what we do, and developing talent, and also reaching new audiences in spaces that is not sort of the traditional concert hall.
So we started in the Conservatorium of The Hague, which is where most of us studied when we were still studying. I think there's someone in the waiting room. We were embedded in the composition department. We were, playing the pieces of fellow students and also of other students of other departments like sonology. But after we graduated, we start to open up a little bit the notions of what making music or experimenting with music was, and we started to work with different makers of other disciplines as well. And that's when the DNA became a little bit broader, in the sense that we are all classically trained. Let's say we do have let's say a formal education in music, but that doesn't mean that the music that we are performing needs to have that background. So often we work with composers that are not educated in let's say, the traditional way, or that are coming more from other backgrounds. And we are lately, in the last years, we deepen a lot the work with makers that are not even coming from sound or music as their main practice. So for us, it's very interesting also to ask questions about how does the music of a theater maker sounds, but not a theater maker hiring a musician, but how would be the music of or a poet, or a painter, you can name it. And so this is something that we thought with this open call, we could use this open call as a vehicle to explore this further.
Yeah, exactly. So this is our way of reaching people outside of outside of the city, or outside of the traditional practice, let's say, not or at least with not an exclusive focus on those makers that already have opportunities working with ensembles. So it's exciting for us. Just to speak a little bit about the collaboration itself. So we, as was probably clear to you from the open call, it's really to work with one of our musicians, and we envision getting your proposals, and then you or the chosen makers would then work one-on-one with that musician over a series of 6 sessions. And yes, in between, you get a lot of artistic feedback also, of course, in dialogue with this musician, but also from Ezequiel as artistic coordinator. And we envision also an external collaborator giving outside feedback. And then, of course, it resolved in a premiere of this work at our festival in December. So that's something to keep in mind, that we are very open to different practices, but it does result in a specific outcome in a concert setting, whatever that might look like. Also
it needs to be presented live. Let's say we are looking for something that can be presented live, in whichever setting that might be. But for instance, just to say things that might not be so suitable for us in this specific call, for instance, a sound installation or something that is ongoing, That is maybe something that we are exploring in other contexts, but for this specific context, we are encouraging something that we can present in a sort of public presentation. Yeah.
Then, yeah, the timeline would be that the applications close end of this month, the 31st of May. Just met someone. 31st of May, the applications will close around midnight. And then we will take until the end of June to adjudicate all the applications. Then from that moment, end of June, we make the announcement, of course, communicate to everyone. And indeed, over the summer and in the autumn as well, September, October, these working sessions will take place, depending a little bit on the availability of musician and the makers.
So that is also something that we are going to offer, is a little bit of a production and support. So someone that can help you to coordinate with the musician and the facilities in our sound studio as well, and the possibilities of organizing like a manageable trajectory for the selected artist to be able to develop the work, and maybe depending on the nature of the selected projects, decide in which way is the best way to schedule these encounters between the maker and the performer.
Yeah, so not only artistic support, but yeah, productional support as well. Great. And then what does the proposal need to include? I think the form is clearly asked for certain things, but of course we're happy to elaborate. There's the links to your work, important for us tonight to get to know what you're doing, both video and audio. One page with the idea that you want to present, and the motivation of why you want to work with Modelo. And what we're reading for, we're interested to just to hear things outside of the practice that we normally work in. It's as we already mentioned, this is not exclusively for traditionally educated composers. And yes, we are interested in reading proposals that come from different practices. Also good to mention that the proposal, the one page you sent, we're not looking for something that's already composed in your head. It's good to present a little bit of an idea in progress or in process. I think what makes the project special is that you can do it in dialogue with us as well, to some extent. So if you can convey on the page that you need a musician to make this idea reality, I think that would be interesting for us as well.
Yeah, let's say that we are not so interested in receiving a finished score for one of the instruments, let's say. So we are not assessing the quality of already the outcome. We are more interested in developing the process together. So it's more a little bit, we try to keep, I think Lisa did a very good work into trying to keep the form sort of light-weighted, so you can really focus on what would you like to do, why would you like to collaborate with us, and that then with the information that you choose to share with us about yourself and your practice, there will be a committee that will select, they will revise all the proposals, and then they will select the two that they think are the more suitable for this first edition. So it's really important for us that you use your creative dreams, that you want to share with us what would you really like to do. We like to take risks, and so we encourage you also to be risky when you make your proposals. We are not only going to take safe proposals. We want to see what's out of the box. Let's say that's our will.
Yeah, exactly. And Yeah, I think it's good also to mention that we prioritize new collaborations. This is not to deter anyone who's worked with us before from applying, but I think for us it's nice to be able to give a commission to those who have not received a commission from us in the past. But again, everyone is welcome.
Yeah.
So please don't feel deterred. Yes, I think we've covered a lot, unless you want to say something else, but I'm also happy to open a bit the floor.
We'll do that. I think I would like to enhance what you just said to everyone, that this is for us an opportunity to get to know also people that we didn't have the possibility of collaborating already. We are using this as an opportunity to get to know many other artists that we didn't have the chance to meet yet. And obviously the spots are limited. We are aware of that, but that doesn't mean that by getting to know you through your application, even if your project is not chosen, it's also a way for us to put your name and your practice in our radar, because obviously we're trying to do many other activities besides this open call. And yeah, it's good to know what is the ecosystem in which we are part of, let's say. So yeah.
Indeed. And it is something we will repeat next year and hopefully further in the future as well. So that's nice to keep in mind that it's a growing project. Okay, is it perhaps it's a good moment then to open the floor if there are any questions from you?
I have a question. Hello.
Yes. Hi.
I jumped right into it. Yeah, thank you very much for the, well, elucidating a bit more. It's very helpful. I want to ask regarding like the size of the project in terms of duration. Like if you're I understand that it can be very open in terms of the collaboration, but is that like but it's going to be fitted within a concert context. So probably there's a duration within it. You're looking for something not smaller than X and not bigger than Y. I just want to have an idea on that.
Good question.
Yeah, good question, because we kind of purposefully didn't specify it, but of course, yeah, it cannot be. It needs to be durational to some extent for the setting. The fee would suggest a specific duration, but we don't want to limit anyone to the 15 minutes or so. That is sort of the fair pay equivalent of according to the
Maybe this is a
name
good
of-
idea to inform them a little bit. Because it is connected with the duration and also in the way that you frame your proposal. So we are financing these commissions that we will grant with the support of the FPK, the Fonds Podiumkunsten. And this means that we can put our own rules, let's say, and propose them and be as inclusive as possible, but that means that we are still working in a pre-existing frame that we also need to respect. One of these frames is connected with the fair pay for a commission in relation to a duration. This is how it is structured in the Netherlands. There is a table with fees for composers that you can find in the website of Nieuwe Geneco that propose a fee connected with, basically it's connected with time, also with duration, with amount of voices, and with level of complexity. We assigned a fee for a duration of
11 to 15 minutes. Yeah.
So legally, in relation to the work frame, let's say, it should be between 11 and 15 minutes, what we are compensating in terms of a commission.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
if
I'm aware of the tabel there. And yeah, that's exactly why I asked the question, because in terms of like hoog complexity, right? The duration between 5 and 10 minutes is like it's the 4,850. So that I think that's exact amount, right? So it should be something you're expecting something between 8 to 15 minutes, right? A 30 minutes would be considered then underpay, and below that fees a bit below 5 minutes a bit too little, right?
Well, yes, but that is depending on the project that we will select.
I see.
So
Okay.
the connection with the financial compensation will also be connected with the project that will be selected. So we don't know for now. Maybe with certain practice, it will have a duration of 7 minutes and 20 seconds. But for other practice, it could be maybe a length of 25 minutes, and that will be fine. We want to really customize the projects based on the proposals. So it's a bit too early for us to limit it. Obviously, there is a limitation or a constraint of our financial possibilities. So it would be unfair for us to ask you to do something that will last, I don't know, 40 minutes as an example, when we don't have the means for it. So it really needs to sit on the proposal and your own practice.
Okay, thank you very much.
I think
Carlos, yes, I see you have a question. Right.
We cannot hear you, Carlos.
Ah, yeah, you're not muted, but
Now?
yes.
Yes, loud and clear.
Wow, it was fast, luckily. Well, thank you very much. I have two main questions. I understand that the piece is a collaboration, but is there any possibility to use some written material? Of course, not everything finished from the beginning, but if there is some written material that could be used.
Yeah, I think if it explains what you're doing, then it can be included. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wouldn't negatively affect the application for sure. I think it can only be help us understand better what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything that can help us understand what you want to do and what you want to develop is welcome to attach to the application. And then in the development of the work itself, of course, that if your proposal includes writing a score, of course, this is something that we also do. It can be text, it can be traditional notation, it can be graphic scores, it can be anything, creative coding. Yeah. Did this answer you clearly, or
I just in case, I mean, if I have some material that I wrote before, because I'm also thinking about building an improvisation in collaboration with a musician, but with music that is already written before. So improvising from based on the music that is written before, and this part of the music it is going to be also performed.
Yeah, I think that you can there is not a limitation of it. It really depends, it's hard to answer that in an assertive way, because we don't know what will. It's not clear now, and I think maybe it's something also for you to reflect, like, to what extent do you want to develop, like, what it is more important is what is it going to come out of the collaboration in the process. It doesn't matter if you are working on some pre-existing motets or your own music or a song of the Beatles. We are open to any of this. What is important is that you can dive on what will change in your creative process and in your work doing the collaboration with the musician that you will choose. Make sense?
Exactly. I think, yes, whatever, like you said, whatever you need to convey what you're doing, but also we want to read that you that you need a musician of Modelo to make this project happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, to put it kind of just directly, it can, yes, that it benefits the project, that it's one of our musicians specifically, these type of things, that the process itself is important to your work.
Yeah. Well, another question. I already sent my application. I think it was too soon. It was just out of enthusiasm, but I think it will be very nice to change a few things and to deep more. Is it possible to do that? Do I have to? The previous application is not valid anymore through email and to send a new one, or?
Yes, as long as it's before the deadline, you can resubmit just a new application, and we
Yes.
will disregard the other one.
Okay. Okay. So that
Just to be clear for everyone, and also to answer you, Carlos, what we want is to offer a space of dialogue with you. And for us, it's more important that you are submitting the best application that you think you can submit. So the formalities are not too important. What we want to do is to be respectful with everyone else that is applying. So as long as it's within the deadline and it's respecting the requirements that we prepare for the open call, the rest we can engage in the dialogue through email or through social media, and we are happy to work together with you so that you can submit the best possible application. I think
Great. Emilio? Yes.
Yes, I was wondering something about the instrumentation, because obviously it's a collaboration, but I was wondering if the final product, if the final piece is supposed to be a duo, or if it's possible to introduce other musicians as well. Because I read in ensembles, you don't want to work with ensembles, which I understand. But is it possible, for example, to introduce a third musician, to make it a trio or a quartet or whatever?
Yes. Yeah, I would say that's really not the purpose of this project.
Yeah.
Yes, the idea is that, well, we favor projects where you as a maker perform alongside the musician.
Yeah.
I would not. Yes. I would say if there's no other way around it. I think we really want to stick to the DNA of the idea, of the concept.
Yep.
So
Sure.
either solo or duo.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it can also be a solo, just for the clarity. So the proposal can
Yeah.
also be for one of the musicians. But we are encouraging composers or makers or that also want to perform along so as in a duet format with the musician of the ensemble.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm trying to think if you want to do it in a creative way of create. Of course, there are other ways of.
Because the way I thought is obviously the basis is collaborating and working on the piece together, but then introducing a third musician just to play could maybe work for certain concepts, but still keep the structure of having a collaboration in place. But obviously, if you say, no, this is just, it's supposed to be a duo thing, then that works as well.
Yeah, I think that's I think Lise answered it in a very good way. I will say you are welcome to send a new proposal, but yeah, it's good that you are aware that we are prioritizing the solo and or the duet with the performer. Yeah.
Yep. Cool. Thanks.
Diana.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. I have two questions. The first one is similar to Nilo's question, but more about. So I'm also a musician, but if I apply with a project that has quite a strong visual and, let's say, how to say, like structural um, thing, but it's not my first practice as well. Can I include someone who can help on that part, since Modelo is also, from what I understand, quite focused on the musical parts. Is that also possible to include like a collaborator, not as an ensemble again, but someone who can help work on that part?
Good question.
Yes, that is a good question. I think the frame we provide is really for, in terms of just the practicalities and the finances. I think if that is on your own accord, that you bring in someone to help make develop this piece, that of course is possible. But in terms of the structure of let's say the finances and the business side of things, we provide production and the one musician, and your fee.
Yeah, the limitation is again, we are welcoming the proposal. So, for instance, let's suppose that you say that you are collaborating with a person that is doing X role in your proposal, and maybe you are coming from a different context in which this collaboration needs to exist, and this other person can be also compensated for that work, and that's totally fine. We just want to be transparent with our own limitations of what we can provide financially. So for us, it will be very hard to have someone working and not being able to compensate for their work, because we are advocating quite strongly into fair practice. So that will be a little bit of a noise for us. But maybe it's worth to mention that if you are considering something that is including other aspects, such as it can be visual aspects or structural or staging or lighting or any other aspects that you see that is essential for the development of your artistic work, you should consider the feasibility. So if there are a lot of costs or a lot of logistics complexities into, for instance, how long does it take to build up the system, or how much does it cost in materials? All these things are elements that we will consider because we will need to assess realistically if we can respectfully take on the challenge of presenting that. Does it make sense?
Yeah. Clarifies things for that question. And then the second question, so we get to work in a studio. Is it like a practice studio or also recording studio? So is it an idea to make a piece that will also be recorded, or it's only like live moments?
Oh, yes.
No,
Go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
No, yes, the sessions will primarily take place in our rehearsal studio. There is the opportunity to record it as well, but we provided a video recording of the premiere. So indeed, I think there is room for that to record it, good quality audio of that as well, for sure.
The studio is not a soundproof recording studio. It's a rehearsal studio in a building where there are other things happening, and we have recorded there and we got good results, but it depends to other external factors that we cannot always control. But maybe it's also useful to mention that the access to the rehearsal studio is not exclusively for the sessions. So if you, for instance, will need a rehearsal studio to practice, try out things, or spend some time working, that's also something that we can offer. So in a way, you will have access to the ensemble's rehearsal studio, which is it's a nice place. And in relation to the registration, what Lisa said, we are also very interested in providing you with audiovisual documentation. It's not just for us to show what we are producing, but also for you. We think it's valuable for you for also next steps also. And I think we all value as artists when we have good documentation of what we do. So that's also something that we will be providing.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? No questions. Yes, I'm unsure if it's clear from the FAQ on the website. There are a lot of questions there also where we answered some of the questions we've received already. There'll be 2 commissions granted from this year's open call, and next year we do the same. I think it's clear what is covered in this project and what the possibilities are. But yes, indeed, I think just to reiterate what Ezequiel was saying, we're interested in looking at different practices or different approaches to a music or a concert practice, but with the intent of keeping it feasible enough to present in our festival. Having said all that, we want to also see what you're doing in general, to get to know a little bit what everyone's doing. So it covers a lot of scope, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading what you have to present. Yeah, just as a last opportunity to ask us anything. Yes.
Rafael.
Hey, can you hear me? Yes.
A bit soft.
Let me see if I can improve this. Or maybe get closer to my computer. Is this better? It's soft, but I think we manage. We also get close. No, wait a second. That's not good. Let me try to improve. Super. Now it's
This is
better.
improving, yes.
Now. I think now it's better. Perfect. Okay, it was from my. I have a small question. If there is any limitations or constrictions about the performers, like for example, if we get the results and we start working in July or August, when can we start rehearsing with them? Like, how do you guys see a good timeline until December? And if there's any limitations regarding time and
Yes, maybe we said that in the beginning. So in the end of May is the deadline for receiving the application, and we are expecting to share the results in the end of June. From that moment, we will link you with a producer who will make contact with the player that you have selected to schedule the sessions according to your and their availability. And we have prepared 6 sessions that you can use with the musicians. That is in relation to also the budget that we have available. And then after the piece is finished, and depending on the needs of the piece, we will think on the rehearsal structure for the final presentation at the Sound or Not Festival in the beginning of December. Does it answer you properly?
Yeah, I guess so. I was more curious if, like, yeah, for example, if we, like, in terms of feasibility, to imagine, like, oh, please don't pass 10 rehearsals or 5 meetings. So I can imagine as well, like, oh, okay, what is really feasible during this time?
Yeah. No, it's clear. So we have planned 6 sessions of 3 hours
Okay.
with one player.
Oh, that's perfect.
So I
That's
think it's like 18 hours of work. It's a significant amount for developing something. And obviously, if you space them, or that depending on your own needs based on your project, if you space them accordingly, and of course we can participate in a dialogue about what will be the best for your project. I think that will be a sufficient time to really create a dialogue, and to also allow the selected artists to grow their piece within between the sessions.
Okay. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Okay, wonderful. Any last questions? Or more, we have time. Doesn't have to be the last.
Oh,
I actually have one last question that came up.
Yes.
If is it also possible to either to suggest two instruments and to leave it up to either the instrumentalists themselves or like the people reviewing to suggest something if you have no strong for example preference between some instruments?
That's a very good question. We didn't get that yet. Yes, I would
Yes.
say absolutely.
Yes. I
Then we
agree.
can ourselves see which, because everyone has a very different practice also in the group. It's a very tight-knit group, but they all have very different practices and approaches also. So that's a good idea would be to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Don't if you know that your project is not tied to one specific instrumentalist, and you can argument all the other aspects of the development of your project, and you want to leave that specific part of the proposal open, you are welcome to do so. Yeah, very good question. Also, thank you for your questions in general, because that will help us to do our FAQ more accurate. We will take your questions and also write the answers in the FAQ for many others that maybe are interested in this call and they cannot be here today.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if there is any problem of accessing the link for the call, or it's unclear, or yeah, if you have any reason not to be able to apply easily, please let me know. You can just write to info@modelo62.com and reach out, and we can make it happen together, or we will take your proposal into account. I think the form is the easiest way to collect everything, but if there's some issue, some technical issue, please, you're welcome to submit it another way.
Yeah. Maybe we can mention something in relation to with the age, student, and so forth, just to clarify that.
Yes, that is a question we received, why students cannot apply, and that has to do with the specific grant we received to be able to commission these works. And the requirement is that it goes to working postgraduate makers. So that's the only reason for that. All ages are welcome, so it doesn't need to be someone specific of a specific age. But yes, that's the only rule, let's say.
Yeah.
Disqualifying rule.
Yeah, and if you are finishing your studies and you are going to be graduated in June, that means you are eligible to apply, because you will be a professional when you will be doing this project. So this is also important detail to mention.
Yeah.
We are trying to do it as open and inclusive as possible, but yeah, it's not. We set up some of the rules, but not all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, very nice. Well, thank you everyone for taking the time to join. Thanks for the heart.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for your interest, and we are looking forward to receiving your proposals. If you feel after this info session that is something for you, yeah, and looking forward to meet who you are and what would you like to do with us.
Great. Thank you very much, and yeah, have a good day further.
Yes, thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.